Repeated power cuts by Eskom don't only plunge the country into darkness for set periods of time, they also risk causing damage to infrastructure. Well, each time electricity load reduction is implemented on the already ailing infrastructure, it runs the risk of power failing to return after the power cuts. Well, this has already been the case in parts of Johannesburg, and to combat persistent electricity problems, the city's mayor, Mpho Morane, has launched a 15-year energy sustainability strategy. The plan is aimed at accelerating reliable power supply for residents and businesses. And for more on this, we're joined by Isaac Mangena, the spokesperson for City Power. Isaac, this sounds like great news. But how worried are you that every time scheduled electricity cuts happen, that old power stations won't jolt back up into life again?
Thanks, Anika, and good morning to the viewers. Yes, the situation we're in now is undesirable one for our customers, but also for us as City Power because of the strain that our infrastructure is taking, the knock that our infrastructure is taking every time we have to switch on and off. By its nature, electricity infrastructure was never meant to be switched on and off at regular intervals, and this is basically putting so much strain and even on resources that we have to put every time we have to basically restore electricity. So it's really not a desirable one, and our wish is that Eskom can basically ensure that they find solutions so that we can be able to provide electricity to our residents.
Well, the energy strategy now will see City Power transitioning from an electricity distribution company to an energy service provider. How will the plan work?
So basically the plan is purely because of the situations like now where we are seeing more and more of load shedding. So we want to cut our over-dependency on Eskom and bring in new players that will assist in capacity to ensure that we offset load shedding at least stage 1 and 2, even stage 3, so that we don't have this kind of situations that we have. So we are looking at getting extra capacity of about 500 megawatts of power from other sources that include solar and gas, so that when we have challenges in terms of electricity supply from Eskom side, we are able to basically tap into those additional resources that we are having. So this will start basically from this weekend with the opening for proposals from potential independent power producers that will assist the city of Johannesburg in ensuring that we cater for our residents and developmental and economic needs in future.
Isaac, how long will this plan take to come on stream?
Basically, there was work already going on in the background. For the past 2 to 3 years, the teams at City Power and other consultants that we're working with us to ensure that we basically launch this plan. We have already done feasibility studies, and now, as I mentioned, what we need to do now is to basically go on this proposal seeking exercise, which will basically go out this weekend, and from there we're looking at least having some of the sources kicking in the next year or two. As you mentioned, it's a 15-year-old plan, but in the next 15 years, by 2030, we're hoping that we will be having extra 500 capacity that will ensure that we deal with the ever-growing demands of electricity in the city, especially now that we're talking about taking over other Eskom supplied areas, which is also still another process, so that when that kicks in, we already have enough capacity to ensure that we deal with all those demands. We have budgeted about 10 billion rands, like I said, when the work started 2 years ago, to work on this issue of new energy mix, where we will be able to basically cut our dependency on Eskom, or at least reduce it.
Isaac, before I let you go, and very quickly, there are plans for about 35% of the city's power to be clean energy by 2030. It's an ambitious plan. How are you going to achieve it?
As I mentioned, we are going to achieve that by ensuring that we bring in new independent power producers on board to work alongside ESCOM. We are not completely getting rid of ESCOM. We will be getting most of our electricity from ESCOM, but we want independent power producers to come in so that they are able to assist us to offset some of these challenges that we're facing with ESCOM. We are basically working towards a 500 megawatts capacity from renewable energy. As I mentioned, we're looking at gas and solar energy to come on board. We are also talking to those customers that already have capacity. eNCA might be having a farm of solar energy to be able to put that onto our grid, and then we pay eNCA for that provision. So that is the target that we are looking at. We have already identified some sites where some of these solar farms will be. Avalon Cemetery is one of those. So we will have the roof around Avalon Cemetery to ensure that when people are there to do their burials, they are sitting under a solar roof that is basically providing electricity back to the residents of the city of Johannesburg. So those are the plans that we have, and we have already tested some of those, especially the waste to energy sources. 1% of what we are using currently is coming from our waste to energy sources. So it is doable, and that's where we are going. And even the president has already opened up for other independent power producers to basically come on board and ensure that they assist municipalities like City of Johannesburg and others across the country.
All right, thank you. Isaac Mangena, the spokesperson for Joburg City Power. It's a plan that can't come quickly enough.